And we are live. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And we're really here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. Now, you often hear Mark and I talk about things that people don't want to talk about. However, they're very, very important subjects that need to be discussed to decrease stigma for healing. And what we need to really start talking about is adult use cannabis, cannabis wellness, and start making a normal conversation because you know what? It's fun. And we all deserve to feel good. So the grassroots community saved my life. I'm sure you've all heard my story before, but if you haven't, we'll save it for another day. But I'm forever, forever grateful. This is where my learning journey began. And I still have so much more to learn. So I actually thought it would be a really, really good idea to have on the president of Mass Cann, and one of the board members to talk about the Boston Freedom Rally on September 8th on the Boston Common. So I'm going to introduce my guests, and then we're going to get started in the interview, and you guys are going to learn some new things. So this stuff I didn't even know about when I came into the cannabis space. So Grant Smith Ellis is the president of Mass Cann, a disabled former graduate student who currently engages with the community as a medical cannabis patient, advocate, and reporter. Grant was studying political philosophy at Boston College, where he was a double eagle, in 2014 when he fell seriously disabled following complications from a surgery. After falling disabled, Grant was introduced to cannabis by his doctor following an 18-month period where he was in and out of the hospital. As a result of his positive experiences with medical cannabis, Grant became involved with grassroots cannabis activism by way of volunteering for a wide variety of organizations in the local cannabis space, where he was grateful to be able to assist with anything from multimedia technology to regulatory policy development or otherwise. And Grant's been doing some amazing things. So Grant has been speaking at MASSCANN events since 2017, and over the past years took an active role in working to deploy the MASSCANN members 420 Zoom chats, along with the digital incarnation of Virtual Education Village. Grant also worked alongside the Boston Freedom Rally Committee in the role of executive producer to help bring the 2020 Virtual Freedom Rally to fruition. The consensus-driven and teamwork-based approach Grant witnessed firsthand while assisting with this virtual freedom rally is what he feels MASSCANN can be at its very best. And he looks forward to working to uphold those values going forward as well. And so Grant, I'm really, really excited. Grant was on the show in March of 2020 when the pandemic started, and we discussed the importance of having telehealth certification for all patients. It was a really great show, and we're going to be continuing to have that dialogue as well. But now I want to introduce this little beautiful angel up here in the corner, Jennifer. Jennifer's a patient advocate, activist, and director at MASSCANN. Jen and I go way back to when I was a real newbie in the cannabis space, and I was eager to learn. I was extremely plagued with stigma. And so what I did is I set out to get to know people in the community of caregivers. And Jennifer took me under her wing. She showed me how to use cannabis and be okay using cannabis all the time to relieve symptoms. She taught me things that I would never learn in a book, a class, a webinar, an event, or a video. She provided experiential learning with kindness and humor. And I'm truly grateful for what she's done for me, because otherwise I wouldn't be here today, sister.
Aw, Sherry.
Seriously. Yeah, I truly believe that. You know, and I can't say enough, about the grassroots community, over and over and over again whenever I'm presenting, is that because there were no cannabis nursing organizations that I knew of. There was nothing. And what a better way than to go to the people that have been doing it year after year with passion, with purpose, with vision, saving lives, right? That's where I knew I was going to get the best education. And hands down, Jennifer, you need to start a college, seriously. The experiential way of utilizing cannabis and making it okay to decrease that stigma. So anyways, welcome Grant, and welcome Jennifer. I want to get right into this because, like I said, there's a lot of new people out there that are going to be watching our shows. We just merged with Holistic Caring Network. And so there's a lot of newbies out there that are, just kind of dipping dipping their toes in the water and really wanting to learn. So let's talk about MASSCANN, and what is the mission? What is MASSCANN?
Matt, well, thank you, Sherry, first of all, for that introduction and for having us. I know we got a lot of plates that we're juggling right now, but it's great to take a few minutes and hang with you. MASSCANN's a 501c4 nonprofit that's existed dating back to 1989. That's a cannabis advocacy nonprofit that has fundamentally worked to end prohibition in Massachusetts. The board of directors change each year. It was founded by a group of 10 people in Massachusetts in '89 and just grew from there. We host the annual Freedom Rally, which we're going to talk about. The Freedom Rally itself dates back to 1989 in North Adams. The second year was 1990 in front of the USS Constitution. And then from 1991 until today, the event has been held at the Boston Common. It's the second largest free to attend cannabis event in the United States and the largest free to attend cannabis event on the East Coast. But MASSCANN is not just the Freedom Rally. Also year-round, we're engaged in grassroots advocacy and activism. So that means interacting with regulators, lawmakers, not really becoming lobbyists, but usurping their tactics, humiliating corporate subversion and corporate consultants, and then ensuring that the authentic cannabis community has a voice in the regulatory and lawmaking process. So we have a lot of fun with the rally, but our real goal is about making cannabis laws fairer and more free, and fundamentally creating a marketplace as adult use and medical use cannabis comes to fruition that enables everyone to own a piece of that pie, not just work for some corporation at $15 an hour.
Absolutely right. And Grant, you've been doing some amazing work in the cannabis space, honestly. And, I'm really honored that you're here today. You shared your story last year of what brought you to cannabis. And, your story is extremely compelling. And, it's interesting how we all come to this space. It's like we all have our stories, and then our stories, we come together, and the stories may be different, but the feelings are very, very similar among all of us. And that's the beauty of this space. So when did you both get involved with MASSCANN? Like when did your involvement? When did you
go ahead, Jen?
The beginning of this year, actually.
That's not true. Jen.
No, not just on the board. Just at the beginning of this
on
year.
the board.
So when I was younger, we used to go to the MASSCANN rallies because that was awesome, and I knew KOP way back in the day. But then
Michael Malta, the King of Pot, was an early MASSCANN member.
Yes, he was a great dude, and I've always just loved the idea of it. So it was great to get involved. I became an actual member a couple of years back.
Right. But prior to that, how I met you was through the community, was Mass Cannabis community. Right. You developed this community of people, and I'm telling you, you are a rock star. Love everything that you say, you do, you feel. You're about the people, and you're about the plant. Right. And that's what I love. And you're fair, and you're honest, and you're loving, and you're kind, and you embrace everyone. So, and you're a big, huge part of my story. So just for our new viewers, tell us about Mass Cannabis community.
Well, Mass Cannabis community was started so that we could find like-minded individuals, because I'm sure as you've all experienced the stigma against it, it's not that fun.
No.
So it just kind of blossomed from there, and it just grew and grew and grew. And it's a very supportive community. We love to give back as much as we can as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so Boston Freedom Rally time. Let's hear stories. When was the first time you both went? And what was your experience like?
Oh, I went with my dad when I was like a kid, probably 8 or 9, and we were walking through the park, and he's like, "Smell that? Do you smell all that? That's the hippie smell." I was like, "Oh, that's great. I love it." So it blossomed that, but it's always been that fun thing in the park to see. My whole family supports it.
Yeah. And so you had a good experience your first time?
Oh.
As a kid, did you enjoy it? Did you have questions? Were you asking them like, "What's that? What are they doing?"
I loved everybody's outfits, because a lot of people dressed up then. People would wear in these what now I know is a cannabis leaf, but back then I just thought they were all dressed like plants, and I thought that was so cool. I was these people are nuts. I love it.
Right.
Then high school came around and started to actually go and invest my time into it, and it's a blast. It's always been fun.
It has been fun. Well,
Never
the first
been a
time,
dull moment.
no, well, there's a couple of years that we've been together that we've met at the pond, and
Yep.
we've gotten our annual picture where
Yep.
you're standing on the picnic table
Yep.
and I'm standing next to you.
And the place is awesome. I loved everything about, the Freedom Rally.
Yeah,
It's a
it is.
blast.
It is great. Grant, what about you? What was your experience like when you first went to the Freedom Rally?
Oh, it must have been 2011, maybe 2012. And I only knew of it as something that would make taking the C or D line from Cleveland Circle down to Park Street worth it. I didn't do that a lot back then because I lived in the BC bubble up in Cleveland Circle. So my first memory is thinking, wow, like this, it's really cool that we have this. I'm going to even go down there and take a look at it myself. And then my next memory is jumping to like 2014 or 2015 when I was there with a friend of mine who had a vending booth. And, obviously just getting the feel of what the event was like, watching some of the acts on stage. By 2017, I was speaking at the event. And then 2019, I was speaking again. 2020, I ran the virtual BFR. And now this year, alongside Jen and the BFR committee, I'm helping to put this BFR together as well. So it's been a fun process.
I love that. See, there you go, the evolution. So here, I'll share with
He's
you
a
mine.
man of many capes. Grant, you're awesome.
Yeah.
You really are. You are the rock star in the community.
You guys are doing some really great work. So my
Well, thank
first
you.
time
Tell us,
going,
Cherry, please.
Okay, I got to tell you because it's interesting. The first time that I went, I was plagued with stigma, obviously. And I went with a friend and someone gave us a cookie and we sat under a tree for 5 hours and couldn't move. So that was my first time. And that was in 2016. 2017, I went with the group and just kind of hung out, kind of mingled, didn't do much. 2018 is when we started. 2019 when I met up with you, Jennifer, and I had my little, when the Green Nurse was starting to evolve, and I just wanted to really get to know people, really wanted to get immersed, really wanted to bring that culture into how I take care of and teach patients. And the reason why it was so important is because there is that polarity, and I truly see the community. The more that we're working with patients in the community, there's going to be a shift, a mass shift where the community is going to be bringing this all more so into the traditional system, right? And so we're teaching, plant wisdom. We're teaching how to support and nourish our endocannabinoid system, and by whatever way that it works. No judgment. So here we are, as we're creating an environment, for patients to really learn, because there's so many different ways to learn. There's so many different ways that you can use this plant. There's so many different healing therapeutic potentials, whether you want to use it, by itself, whether you want to use it with traditional, there's so many different, and we want people to embrace it. And the change of, what is a miracle really? A miracle is a change of perception, that aha moment when it just makes sense. And the aha moment for me came when I was dealing with my own stigma. And I remember meditating once, and the cannabis plant whispered in my ear, "Sherry, you're either all in or you're all out." And I'm like, what does that mean? You're either going to talk about it or you're not. And talking about it means sharing your story, right? So having to get to the place of, kindness and compassion for myself, and I had to realize, wow, I'm judging myself probably more than anyone else is. And then I have to look at it from that perspective of, not only am I a patient, but I'm a provider and a clinician, and what other people might be experiencing too. So we're really trying to bring, lightness of humor and love and kindness and compassion and fun into how we teach and work with this plant. Because you know what? This is what the decisions I make. I'm like, what would the cannabis plant say? What would the cannabis plant say? And the cannabis plant wants us to chill the fuck out and live our best lives. So my experience has changed over the years to one of being, plagued with stigma, high as fuck sitting under a tree for hours and hours, to walking around, with a nurse and interviewing people. And then I did the virtual last year. Thank you so much. And then this year, I'm so excited that I got invited to speak on stage. So
Yay.
I'm really, really excited because I look at this as an opportunity to really pour my heart out and give gratitude, for everything that the plant's given me and everything that you guys have done. So
You are speaking at 4:55 p.m. on the Ed Village stage, Sherry.
all right,
4:55 p.m. Saturday, September 18th, 2021, and you're going to be on our Ed Village stage, so that's exciting. And we do have 2 full stages that day where we are obviously approved by the city. We've begun the permitting process. We're almost through it. And the main stage will have some music acts, some speakers, some video tributes. The Ed Village stage will have 6 different panels throughout the day, some speakers, some music acts, and 1 tribute video. But what's great is this is Jen's first year. Jen's obviously,
Yay.
Jen Nifer is the director of MASSCANN now. She's actually in charge of Ed Village as well. So this is her first year putting on the Education Village stage itself, and that is all her. So that's going to be very exciting.
Excellent.
I'm so excited for all the panelists. So,
I know. I'm really excited to be there, really excited to participate.
I'm excited to hear you speak too. So this is great.
So
would you like to hear our panel? Well, hold on. Would you like to hear our panels? I don't mean to say hold on not my show, but I'm smoking a joint. But yes,
I want to hear everything. Yes.
I'd love to go over the panels.
Let's do it.
The first panel is an extraction panel. That one, we won't release the full lineup, but we will release that. Lucas Appleguy Thayer is the moderator of the extraction panel. We're very excited about that. The cultivation panel is at 2 p.m. We're very excited for that one as well, because Ellen Brown is the cultivation panel moderator. There's an activism panel at 3 p.m. Again, I'm just saying the moderators. There are a bunch of great panelists too. The moderator for that is Blake Mensing. There's a veterans panel at 4 with a special 420 celebration in the middle with some of our directors. That's going to be moderated by Max Piergalini, who's one of our board members. And then we have medical cannabis, parenting, and you at 6:30 p.m. and 6:35 p.m. on the Ed Village stage. And Dr. Marion McNabb is going to be moderating that. So we got some superstars, and our acceptance rate for speakers and panelists was something like 97%. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for everybody there.
Yeah, Massachusetts grassroots cannabis is really, what an interesting, just really, really has enriched my life, and it's taught me so much. It's been a trip, to say the least. And it's just such a rich way, just a different way of living, cannabis lifestyle. I love it. Yes. And so for the new people, so if you had, say, your friend who's never used cannabis before said, "Hey, Jen, I'm coming to the Freedom Rally. Where do I go? How do I do this? How do I navigate it? What can I expect?" What would you say?
Take it slow while you walk through the crowds. And just take your time and enjoy it. I wouldn't say anything really.
Yeah.
Take it in moderation. If it's your first time actually smoking weed, go slow.
Right. How about you, Grant?
Well, I would say it's very easy to get lost in the flow of people. But if you know what it is that's happening that day, which is, a main stage with music and speakers and an Ed Village stage with education, and then, there are going to be some like, artists and vendors with, different decorative art or glass art or whatever it is in the middle. If you know what it is that is going on, and you know how to make the most use out of it, you'll enjoy the day. There's, going to be some food truck vendors set up by some great folks over by the entrance by the main stage. Again, it's a free to attend event. So, we kind of set it up so you can get some food on your way in or whenever you're hungry, make your way past the main stage through some of the, glass shops and the, tapestry vendors and things like that. And then on the other side, you kind of walk into an Ed Village area. Where you can see the Ed Village stage. And this year we're going to have a 21 plus area again for regulated companies to be able to have booths in our 21 plus area. And so no smoking, of course, on the Boston Common. But if you come into that 21 plus area with your ID, you'll be able to see some, you'll be able to interact with staff from some of the regulated dispensaries. And we even have 5 booths available for equity companies. So if anyone is listening and wants to vend at the rally and you're a regulated dispensary or otherwise, reach out to us because we'd love to have you there.
Excellent. 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 So Saturday,
September 18th.
September 18th, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
on the Boston Common.
In the Boston Common. Excellent.
You all will be impressed.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. It'll be a great time for us all to get together. And
you'll have to come get your picture with me at the Ed Village, though. Bring everybody over there. Let's support our panelists. We want to make sure we give them roaring crowds for their amazing offering of all their information. Like, that's a lot. That's great.
It is. Well, that's the thing too. So if you just think about this, if you're new to cannabis, what a great way to go. You know, just backpack some juice, some snacks, come to the education village, all of those classes, free lectures. I mean, these people get paid to speak. Right? And they're coming.
Or they paid big bucks to learn the info they're giving you for free.
Yeah. There you go.
So
exactly.
It's an amazing movement in itself. Free education is the best.
I call it a retreat, right? We're going to call it the Freedom Rally Retreat, where you can have an experiential day where you're learning from people from the grassroots industry, the medical people, the adult use people, the fun people, the crazy people. Seriously, this is a place where you all can come and just learn and be free. That's why they call it the Freedom Rally. Be free to learn, be open. So you guys are awesome.
You'll see some great art. There's going to be great art there too. So if you like that, just wander through the park. It's a beautiful day just to be there in general.
It is. I mean, some of the times, my memories too is, people are dancing, there's music going. And as this starts to get, I had these little glow sticks that I was dancing with for like an hour. It was really, going to the different food trucks, seeing the different vendors, meeting the different people, meeting people that I never in a million years thought that I would ever meet. Like Mila, that woman, Mila.
The hash queen.
The hash queen. I have Mila signed. I bought her book. She signed it. I gave her hugs. She gave me nugs, and it was amazing.
So
hugs and nugs.
Yeah, we did have Mila speak last year on the Legends panel, which was great at the virtual rally. I don't know if she's going to come in from Amsterdam, but Bobby West, Uncle Stoner, did just announce, obviously with our permission, that he will be bringing his squash off tent to the 2021 BFR. So Bobby is obviously very good friends with Mila, the hash queen, and so many other wonderful folks. So very grateful we're going to have Uncle Stoner with us, and it's all really coming together.
Yeah, it is. So good stuff. All right, y'all, this has been a very, very special edition of the Green Nurse podcast. I want to thank Jennifer and Grant from MASSCANN for coming on, for talking to us about MASSCANN. If you look down below, there's a link to masscann.org. If people wanted to join MASSCANN, Grant, how would they do that?
Best way to become a MASSCANN member is to go to masscann.org. It says right up in the top right, membership or become a member. I think we just changed the graphic, but either way, it will be very clear, the member button. Click on that. It's $30 a year. You get voting rights after 90 days. You will get notifications about our quarterly members meetings, things like that. It's well worth it. It helps support our mission. We're one of the lowest yearly fees for cannabis nonprofit membership in the country. And we've been around for a while, and we hope to continue doing this long into the future, whether we're involved or otherwise. So we appreciate everybody who joins. And you can also make donations without joining in any amount by via the donate button on the website.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do when we're done, I'm going to put that right in the comments. I'll go in and do that. All right, y'all. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sherry, as always.
Green Nurse Podcast, MASSCANN. I'm here with Grant and Jennifer, and we're going to see you all on September 18th, the Boston Freedom Rally from 12 to 8 p.m. And remember what it's all about. It's about living your best life and helping others do the same. Thank you.